Hi, welcome back to another video. I'm JVA, and this is part 2 of the book by Blue and Sleepless called Pink Nights. This is a Sally Face ex-female listener book, so I hope you enjoy. Enjoy. Sit back, grab some snacks, get your headphones, lay down, relax, and enjoy the story. This is part 2, and yeah, enjoy. My last video was literally a month ago, so it's only fair that I record an audio for this. So, yeah, enjoy. The week was coming to an end. Tomorrow was actually Sunday, so it was pretty much over. It was a good week. I got to hang out a lot with Ash, and sometimes we'll meet up with Larry, too. I would be so happy if this was all that college was. I was not ready for classes at all. It's not that I wasn't excited to start learning or whatever. I was just so at peace with my lazy schedule. It was nice to live with other girls and just do whatever I wanted. I wake up at 10, go shower, and it wasn't even that bad when other people were in there. It was private enough, and there was always someone playing music. One girl even made cute air fresheners for the counter. I liked passing by them in the hallway, seeing them with their towels on their heads. I feel safe here. I guess things wouldn't change too much. I just hope homework and exams didn't kick my ass. I did a load of laundry and texted Ash as I was sitting in the laundry room. I've kind of gone back to my room and set a timer, but the laundry room was so peaceful and no one was there. There were 3 windows that looked out into the courtyard that you can see. You can even see the bushes that attracted butterflies. It was just me and the sound of this rumbling machine. It was like sound therapy. Ash, are you busy? Not super busy. Waiting in the laundry room for my clothes. What's up? Larry asks if you want to come over and hang out before class start. Oh my god, yes. If we can get those drinks, you tell Larry that I like lemonades. For sure. I'll cry if he brought us those strawberry drinks again. What time are you thinking about getting ready? Sex problem. Having a hard time deciding what to wear. I forgot to actually put an effort to get ready. Ash, you gotta look cute for Sal. Or Larry. Take your pick. No, you hate it if I stole Larry from you. Don't even lie. Ash, you're a troublemaker. You really are. You. Law. I'll see you later. Alright. Ash. I truly forgot that agreeing to invites comes with the pain of getting ready. I checked the time and it was 2, so I had like 4 hours to get ready. Plenty of time considering I already took a shower, and doing laundry was going to take an hour though. I decided to go back to my room to do my hair and makeup. After last time, I was thinking hair up was probably a better move. I gathered my hair into a messy bun and left some hair free. I got self-conscious when it was completely tucked away. I was thinking about doing something different with my makeup, but was worried that if I slept on it again, on accident, I'll wake up with a bigger mess on my pillow than I wanted. I decided to just spice up my regular eyeliner with the gem under each eye. Just a little something without the commitment. By the time I was done with my makeup and clothes were ready, this was the painful part of doing laundry. So tedious. Putting clothes away. Sure enough, it took a little over an hour, just like I had expected. Props to me for doing it though. I had more options for my outfit now. I wanted to look cute, but I didn't want to look like I tried to look cute. I thought black was the safest choice. I put my rings on and wondered which hand touched his. I felt nervous. I really hoped the topic of the balcony conversation didn't come up with Sal. To calm myself down, I painted my nails and I chose a dark red and black for an accent nail. That's funny because Sal's sweater is red and his pants are black. I always loved how the polish felt cold when you put it on. It was a sensation that you wouldn't know unless you painted your nails. Ash, I'm bored. Have you started getting ready? Done already, actually. Ignored. I can't wait to figure out what I'm gonna wear. Want me to come over? Ash, bingo. You. Coming! I brought my chapstick and wallet and headed out the door. Ash had googly eyes glued around the peephole. It was cute, but it also freaked out the RA. Hi, come in. She took my arm and pulled me in. Look at this mess. On her bed were different outfits and 2 large hoodies in different colors. The third was a purple crop top and black shorts. Ash, this is hardly a mess. 2 out of the 3 outfits are the exact same. That's no help to me. How about you just wear the purple crop top and then put a jacket over it? It gets cold at night anyway. I shrugged. Genius. She turned to her bed and changed. Okay, what do you think? I nodded. It's cute. You need jewelry though. Maybe a belt accessory? Ash had a lot of accessories for someone who had a hard time deciding on 2 hoodies. I watched her try on almost all of it. We're really good at wasting time together, so eventually when we looked at the clock and we realized we only had 33 minutes until Larry and Sal were supposed to be here. Almost immediately, Ash suggested we can definitely have dinner. Come on. Ash had the right idea as to not drink on an empty stomach, but she ate so much dumpling so fast, I was concerned for her future. Thankfully, she was stopped by a text from Larry. Making me wait like an Uber or something? Ugh. Larry scoffed as we got in. Ash only made a face. It was 2 minutes. You're being dramatic. I waved to Sal, who was sitting next to me like last time. Hey. Hey. Nice sparkles. He pointed under his eyes. Oh, thanks. I was afraid it looked stupid. Not at all. I wish I could wear them. His eyes squinted. Ash irritated Larry about the drinks he brought. She sounded serious about the strawberry and bonita. You didn't taste it, Larry. It was so gross. Well, maybe I wanted to try it. Maybe that's why I brought it. Well, you better hide it. I don't even want to look at it. I made a face at Sal and mouthed, pointing at Ash. Crazy. His eyes squinted again and he nodded. While Larry and Ash continued their bickering, I asked Sal how he was with my hands. I pointed to him and then Sue seed a thumbs up and down. He gave me a thumbs up and then asked how I was doing with his hands. I gave him a thumbs up and I smiled and made jazz hands and mouth excited. He responded, me too, by pointing 2 fingers and holding them up. He held his hand out and pointed to his nails. He whispers, Can I see? I placed my hands on the seat in between us and let him look at my freshly painted nails. I like the red, he said in a low voice. The black is cool too. We match. We finally made it to Larry's house, which upon arriving, I did realize we could have only gone up 6 flights of stairs. I fell back into the groove and eyed the elevator. You know what, Larry? My dorm hall was creepy and all, but I'm still alive. Larry stopped and turned around. No kid. You don't want to take the elevator? I'm not a pussy, but it's seriously freaky. Have you been on it? I looked between Sal and Ash. They shook their heads no. Okay, so, who wants to have their first ride? We don't even like the elevator at the dorm. I'm not getting on that creepy one. Ash stepped away. I turned my head to Sal. You guys don't have to. Come, it's okay. I'll tell you guys about it. You're not gonna say what I said, Larry stated towards the stairs with Ash following. I mean, what's gonna happen? We die? I'm pretty sure tons of people take it all the time. Sal shrugged and walked towards the door, pressing the buttons. I worry about that with one at a dorm, but 6 flights of stairs? I just gotta know what makes this so bad that 6 flights of stairs is your preference. The doors made a screeching sound when they opened. It was lit inside with a green light bulb. I sighed. Ouch, this is a little creepy, and I'll admit it now, it's worse than the one at school. Sal stepped inside and held the door. Come on. I hesitated till he met him inside. You know, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. Sal pressed 7 and the elevator stalled before moving. I did this willingly. Sal shook his head as we watched the floor number slowly increase. The green light bulb that was supposed to be the overhead light started flickering, and I stepped closer to Sal. I was so terribly wrong. This is awful. We were only on level 5. I bet they're gonna beat us. This is so embarrassing. Sal stepped closer to me and our shoulders met. I like the optimism that we're gonna get out of here. He turned to me, my scared eyes. I'm just kidding. Sorry, it's okay, we're fine. He gave my hand a squeeze. Fuck, the night hasn't even started and things are weird in my head. Like, what was that? Finally, at floor 7, the doors opened to Larry and Ash with a "we told you so" smirks on their faces. We stepped out and I pointed a finger in their direction. No, don't look at me like that. I will admit, I was wrong. Larry was right and I was wrong. I will never ride that elevator ever again. Now you see the truth. I don't lie. Larry turned around and led the group to his door. Okay, drinks are in the fridge. We have weed again like last time. The Switch controllers are charged, and since last time I have required Mario Kart. Those are my announcements. He grabbed this baggie from a drawer in the kitchen and prepared. What if we all got high and played Mario Kart? Ash said. You don't want your lemonade things? Larry said, looking up at her. No, I do, but I do want to laugh with you guys before I commit to potentially falling asleep again. She looked at Sal. You guys in? We nod. I'll beat you, though, if that's what you want, I said to Ash. Whoa, watch out, she's competitive. I couldn't help but laugh. I was excited. I wanted to see Ash rage at me. Once Larry got us all set up, we took seats on the patio. As he sparkled up, I wondered out loud, so, do you not care if anyone smells it? Jesus, Winan, you think I'm careless? It's illegal out here, actually. Larry took a puff. It's, medical. We passed the joint around twice before Ash called out. I made it to like 3 rounds, and then it was Larry and Sal like before. We were all properly high and ready to play Mario Kart. If you had to guess who won, who would you guess? You? Guess. Me? Ash. But you would have been right if you guessed it was Ash. I would be scared if it was me. Being high is supposed to calm you down, chill you out. Ash was having fun, but oh god, she was passionate. Her giggles were so rage-filled, they sounded real evil. I finally forfeited and let Larry challenge her once again, though she regained supreme. It was fun to play against Larry because Larry was having a chill high. So chill, he actually was driving backwards on the track for the better half of the race. He wasn't good at competition, but he was a good sport about it. After our craving for competition was fulfilled, we all talked together. We talked about why the elevators are so creepy and if the apartment complex knows that is as bad as it is. We ultimately decided that they probably do but don't care. We discussed music and how 2010 indie pop was the least good era for radio. The conversation was all over the place. Ash finally needed her lemonade and I followed along and got one too. We did a little cheers and then challenged one another to chug as much as we could in less than one go. Of course I was to no avail. Ash had me beat fair and square. Larry wasn't too happy to hear about that because we all knew what was coming next with Ash and her lemonade drink. I walked back to the living room and sat on the floor. So, Larry, what do you prefer? To drink or smoke? Smoke. He looked at me with a dead stare. No question necessary. Smoke, it's easier, faster, doesn't make you feel all bloated, and overall being high is way more enjoyable than being drunk. Wonderful analysis, Mr. Johnson. Ash came into the living room, taking one of the beanbag chairs. Okay, fine. I guess I'll have a drink. Larry, you want? Sal stood up. Nah, man, I'm okay. Larry started rolling another. Sal, do you want to do a chug challenge with me? She peeked over the breathless part of me, his eyes. I feel like you're gonna win, which wouldn't be good. He opened his can. Winan can time us, it'll be fun. Oh, alright. He turned around and waited for my call. Okay, guys. 1, 2, 3. I watched as Sal pushed his mask on top of his head and chugged. Okay, done. Sal, how much do you have left? He pushed his mask back on and walked over to me, handing me his can. I felt its weight. Not bad. You would have beat me. Okay, Ash, how much do you have? None. Oh god, you better not get sick on my beanbag chair, Larry warned. Do you feel anything yet? I asked. I'll just lay here and tell you when. Larry stood up and went to go outside to the balcony. I followed him outside. You want to smoke more? He raised an eyebrow. No, I'm good. I sat down in a chair and looked over to see the lake, still visible as the sun set. So, you like to play matchmaker, huh? If the topic was going to be brought up, I decided this would be the best time. He laughed. Please explain what you mean by that. Ash told me that you said something about me and Sal holding hands earlier. I told her I was high and didn't remember, and she brought up your tendency to try and push people together. I knew she'll tell you about that. He lit the joint and smoked slowly. I do like to match people up. It's fun. But it's not just for fun. That'd be mean. Right, I said, gesturing from the continue. I'm not trying to push you into anything, though. That was just Ash's guess. I didn't insinuate anything when I told her about what happened. He exhaled. Should I have? I panicked. I brought this on myself. I knew this was just me making things up in my head. With it now being confirmed Larry wasn't even doing anything, I was angry that I had so confidently tricked myself into believing what was going on. That's confusing, but I'm pretty sure the answer is no. He sat closer to me and scooted his chair closer. He gave me a half smile. What are you so nervous for? Like I said before, Larry has this aura about him. I feel like he knows exactly what you're thinking before you say anything. He brought his leg up and rested his ankle on his knee. You're kinda jumpy, huh? He blew his smoke in my direction. It's fun to meet new people. You never know the connections you make. He smirked when I said that, and then put out the blunt, saving the other half. I'll tell you one last thing, kid. Though I'm open to whatever unfolds. He stood up and slid the door open, nodding for me to follow. Ash was on her second drink and telling Sal about the dumplings that our dining hall served. She was obviously drunk, and Sal was politely listening to her story. His eyes met mine, and I smiled at him. I looked at Larry on the couch, who was sipping a beer. He widened his eyes at me to say, ooh. She's not kidding when she says they're good. She probably ate like 10 in like 5 minutes. Before Larry picked us up, I chimed in. Larry looked at me, and then Ash. I'm glad to hear the chugging didn't happen on an empty stomach, dude. Slurring a bit, Ash spoke. Okay, you think I'm an irresponsible drinker. She rolled her eyes. I sat next to her on the couch, and we started a new round. Sal got up and went to the kitchen, and Larry followed. So, Ash, how are you feeling? I tried my best to keep up with the game. I'm feeling great. She slurred and pounded the keys furiously. Okay, so Ash must be a rage gamer. I looked over to the kitchen. Sal and Larry were gone. Do you think everything's alright? I looked at Ash. Do you not think so? She lowered the controller and turned to me with a worried look. No, I was just wondering. I mean, from an outside perspective. I lied. I'm very drunk, so I think so, but then again, I may be unreliable at this point. She placed the controller on her stomach and closed her eyes. Things are always fine, Wayne. I promise. Thank you, Ash. I hope we can always be friends. I looked at her with closed eyes. Her smile grew wider and eyes still closed. Me too, Wayne. I gazed out onto the balcony lights. Larry and Sal returned to the living room. Want to smoke? Larry looked at Sal and me and gestured to the balcony. Following Larry, we all settled into our own chairs while Larry sprinkled up the other half he saved earlier. Taking a drag, Larry dared to utter a disgusting sentence. Uh-oh, guys. So, do you think wine's hot? What? Sal leaned in his chair. No, seriously, do you? I gulped and glared at Larry. You don't have to answer that, Sal, it's okay. What does that even mean? Sal turned to Larry. Like, do you think about wine in when you're alone? Larry pushed. In a quick motion, Sal stood up and went inside. Fuck. What the fuck just happened? Next chapter, Sal House. I'm gonna look up the meaning of kickback, and I'm gonna put it on the screen once I do, because I'm very confused on what the hell a kickback is. That whole chapter was a little confusing, so let me see something. The next morning, I woke up on the floor of Larry's living room. I sat up and looked over to the couch to see Ash asleep. I stretched and crawled closer to the sliding glass doors. It looked early. I didn't have the time on me, but I guess maybe 9 or 8. I was exhausted and actually a little angry that I woke up so early. The morning sky was pretty though. At least it was clear with the exception of the occasional flock of ducks faintly. I could hear them call out to each other. Finally, I decided to get up. I was in a brown shirt that went down to my mid-thigh. I figured I had a chance to go to bed. In only socks, I decided to sit on Larry's balcony. It was a risky decision just because of how loud the sliding doors can be. But I took a chance with Ash being a heavy sleeper. As expected, she wasn't bothered. I sat in a chair and shivered. It was a little colder than I expected for the sun being out. It was crisp, though, and I could feel the summer was ending, just in the way the birds cooed and the trees sounded in the breeze. I looked out to the lake and wondered how cold the water was. I imagined the feathers and I imagined the fathers and sons taking one last trip for the summer. The sliding glass door opened and out came Sal. Hey, hope I'm not intruding. He raised a hand to say hi. Oh no, not at all. I just woke up too early. I gestured for him to sit next to me. Sal sat. Are you cold? I'm alright. It's not that bad. I can see goosebumps on your arms. Here. He shrugged his hoodie off and handed it to me. You can wear this. Are you sure? I took the jacket and looked at Sal, trying to find an emotion in his eyes. I have long sleeve on anyway. It's okay. His voice was soft and raspy from waking up. I slid the jacket on and zipped it up. Thanks. It was warm from the heat on his body and smelt like him. I have no clue what to say to him. Between what happened last night and what happened the night before, I felt like the air between us was so dense that I might as well have just filled my lungs up with cement with the hopes of having them sink to the very bottom of my body and die. I sighed. I could feel the commit. I'm sorry about last night. Sal looked at me with eyes, very readable, no confusion. What do you mean? What is there to be sorry for? I guess I'm apologizing for Larry, really, but I just want you to know that it was weird and I had no idea about any of it. I held his confusion gaze. Whine did you black out? I could see from his squinted eyes that Sal's eyebrows were frowned. What? No, I said defensively. I started to think chug challenge with Ash, playing Smash, going out to smoke with you, and Larry. It was all there. No lapse in time. Sal's confusion didn't leave. I didn't smoke last night, though. Did you? I shook my head. No, I know you didn't. You got up and left pretty soon after Larry had even started. Sal laughed. Whine I really think you blacked out. I'm sorry, but I don't think that happened. My stomach joined my lungs at the bottom of my bottom. Suddenly, I wasn't worried about the tension with Sal. I was worried about my judgment. So that didn't happen? We didn't go outside with Larry last night? He shrugged. Maybe you did. I didn't, though. I'm pretty sure we were all in the living room. Up until now, everyone fell asleep. Yeah, maybe I was just dreaming. I don't remember falling asleep. I gestured to my shirt. Sal laughed. Yeah, it's Larry's. You changed by yourself. Don't worry. I laughed too. Thanks for the reassurance. So was last night fun for you? Yeah, it was, to the end of summer. I'm not looking forward to semester starting, though. I let out a big sigh. Damn it, I forgot about that. Are you ready? I looked at him. Yes, no, because of the obvious reasons, but yes, I'm excited to finally start taking real classes. I went to a community college last year. My first year and I was undecided. I just took basic classes that you already take in high school. Anyway, sorry I talked too much. It's too early for that. No need to apologize. I asked you for a reason. Community college is cool, though I kind of wish I had taken a year to figure out where I wanted to go before I jumped right into, without giving myself in to think about something at the same time. Though, I love Larry and Ash, so I probably wouldn't have left them, Well, I didn't exactly make the decision consciously. It was more of just the not feeling like I was allowed to leave my family. It's kind of needy, I guess you could say. I rolled my eyes. He exhaled. I know the feeling. I slumped down in my chair. It's just like they say. They love you and they make it out like that's why you're holding them captive, which sucks when you know it's not love. Love doesn't feel that way. My dad clung to me after, that. My mom passed. He needed my help dealing with it, but he liked to say that we needed each other. Really, it was just him needing me and me needing me. Oh, so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't know it was like that. I looked at him with soft eyes, regretting falling over me. He shook his head. No, no, it's fine, completely. It's been a long time now. And we're both healed. Lots of time. Therapy. Everything's good. It's just that experience still lives, and I can sympathize with you. I looked at Sal apologetically, but couldn't think of what to say. Don't you think we all deserve better? Even though the people we feel deprived of us more responsible to break the cycle, and ran a hand through his hair and smoothed it. I cleared my throat. Do you usually get up this early? Usually, not today after last night, but normally, yeah. I like the mornings. Sal pointed to the sky. See the ducks? I looked up to see a small V formation of birds. I laughed. That's why you get up? It's a part of it. I like being up before anyone else. I like the peace. Are you a morning person? In moderation, I feel like the night time is better, but for the reasons, though, it's relaxing. I watched his eyes squint, indicating a smile. Lucky for you, winter is just around the corner. I smiled back. He yawned, and I watched him stretch in his chair. His shirt lifted just barely, a tiny silver of pure skin compensating his black clothes. I looked away as soon as possible as I could feel my cheeks get hotter. Anyway, suddenly I felt exposed and embarrassed. The oversized t-shirt didn't feel like enough. I fixed my gaze on the neighbor's balcony and searched for something interesting to put my attention on just for 2 seconds. Do you want to go back to your dorm? Listening to him say that caused my gaze to break, and I was searching frantically for something else to put my eyes on. I couldn't respond. Sal panicked. Oh shit, no. That came out wrong. I should have paraphrased that statement with context. Larry probably isn't going to wake up for a good while, though I was offering you a ride back if you didn't want to wait here. My eyes settled, and I focused on Sal. I'm sorry. Do I seem like I want to leave? He laughed, and tried to lighten the mood. Oh god, no, this is a stream of miscommunication. It's bad. I don't know why I said that. No, I don't think that you're angsty to leave. I'm just not trying to get rid of you. Maybe. He reached for his hair. We could just hang out today. It is kind of chilly. That sounds good, actually. I felt so awkward I had no idea how to make my words sound genuine or rest my arms in a natural position. I totally forgot in convincing. Maybe we could go to my place, and you can meet my cat. Oh, you have a cat? Sal stood up. His name is Gizmo. He's probably hungry. He checked his watch. Do you want to get changed before we head over? I thought about I had worn last night, and it was cute, but not the most comfortable. I didn't really feel like wearing a skirt for no reason at 8 a.m. If you think Larry would mind if I wear this? I tugged at the hem. His eyes squinted and he shook his head. Yeah, he won't miss it. Come on. We quietly moved around the living room, gathering our things. I had everything except for my phone, which, lucky me, was under Ash's pillow. I contemplated whether it was worth it or not. I ultimately decided the luck I've had with Ash being a heavy sleeper was consistent enough that I had felt comfortable taking the chance. So I crouched down to her very slowly, and with further head motions, I wiggled my phone free. As I stood up, Ash's eyes fluttered open. I froze, hoping that I didn't wake her. She grunted and flipped over, snoring again. I exhaled and turned to Sal, who looked back at me with smiling eyes. I shook my head swiftly and made my way for the door. Ash is so scary. Why is she so scary? But she's scary, but she's also cute. I whispered out to Sal as he closed the door. We settled down the hallway for the stairs. She's just unpredictable. He laughed. We made our way through the parking lot and finally took warrant to get in his car. Sal pointed to me. Ah, see, you are cold. You're shivering. I rolled my eyes and sat in between shivers and asked, please, more heat. The car warmed up as we started for Sal's house. The morning was a nice time of day, honestly, especially here, and trees looked soft when they blew in the wind. Finally, we stopped. Sal undid his seatbelt and turned around to grab our stuff from the back seat. His skin brushed against mine as his hand on my seat hard rest. I looked over my shoulder and I could see the tattoo on his forearm. I totally forgot he had tattoos. I haven't seen it again since the first time I met him. He placed my stuff in my lap and opened his door. We got out and headed to the steps. He looked back at me. My elevator isn't as creepy, and I'm on the very top floor. Thoughts? I shrugged my shoulders. It can't be worse than Larry's. Once we were on his floor, we had to walk all the way down the hallway. His apartment was the last door in the row. He took his keys, and my heart dropped a little. The journey was here so long that I forgot to neglect to the knowledge the fact that I was about to walk into Sal's apartment, just him and I. Sorry, it's a little messy. He placed his keys on a key hook by his door and took his shoes off. I scoffed and followed his lead, taking my shoes off by his door. Yeah, I can't believe this is what you think messy is. Sure, there were blankets scrolled on his couch and random things placed everywhere, but it really wasn't messy. It was kind of cute. I didn't expect Sal to be a messy person in the first place, though. A small orange cat walked up to Sal. That's Gizmo. He picked up the little tabby and held him like a baby. I reached out to pet him. Oh God, he's so cute. Does he talk a lot? Do you talk, Gizmo? Sal looked down at Gizmo, who let out a small meow. He's so smart. I gave him another pat on his head before Sal put him down. He's an emotional support animal. Very sweet. I had him since I was a kid. He's reaching his old man age, though. He sleeps a lot. I watched as Gizmo dropped into the living room and took shelter on the couch. I looked around Sal's apartment and was laid out like Larry's, just a normal apartment. The living room and the kitchen blended into each other, and there wasn't very much other doors, but he didn't have sliding doors or a balcony, just some windows that let out enough light. I followed Gizmo's path over to the living room. You have a nice place, Sal. I like your plants. I pointed to a hanging pot nested in the corner by a window. He walked over and met me by my side. Thanks. I've been trying to keep them alive. The green really chills the place out. He touched the plant leaves. So, I know I made it sound weird earlier when I invited you over, so I'm gonna explain myself before I ask. My bedroom is the closest in the house. Do you want to see it? I laughed at him for needing to clarify what he meant. In the most natural way possible, I would love to see it. He turned around and made his way down the only hallway. I watched his steps as I followed him. His socks were red, and he was so gentle with every move. Okay, let me turn on my ambient lighting for full effect. He sat at his desk and clicked on a lamp. Oh geez, you weren't kidding. This is a really cool setup. There was so much to look at, I didn't know where to start. I pointed above me. Is that a chandelier? He stood up from his chair. Oh yeah, well, these apartments are old and they used to actually be really nice. Guess the landlord decided the building needed any touch of luxury it could get. You and Ash have such cool rooms. Mine seems so lame. There's this old block stereotype store that sells posters. Maybe we could look for some for your room sometime. He sat down on his bed and gathered a blanket into his lap. Do you want to sit here? Or would you like the chair? Being in Sal's place had me conflicted. I couldn't figure out where we stood or how I even felt knowing that I dreamt that conversation with Larry left me so confused. I didn't know how to approach any of it. Do I sit with him or do I sit across from him? I was taking too long to speak. There was no way. It was obvious that I was uncomfortable making a decision. I sat on his bed next to him. Our legs were so close to touching, I swear I could feel his warmth being in his place. Looking at his belongings, he was a real person with a life of his own. He had interests and thoughts and feelings, and he breathed and lived in the same space, completely on his own, in his own selfish way possible, if like I was the only person in the world. Sometimes I forget that people don't stop existing once I see them anymore. Sal wasn't mysterious to me anymore. There was no mystery or... He was just a real person. Organized, he had a cat, posters on his wall. He took care of plants, he didn't wear his shoes inside. He was no longer just a name and a thought. He was sitting next to me, and I wanted to reach out and touch him. Are you warm enough? He offered the blanket in his lap to me, placing it on my knee. Oh, thanks. I dragged the blanket over my lap, half on his lap and on mine. Now I really could feel his warmth. I laughed. You warmed it up. He laughed a little. Oh, sorry, that's embarrassing. It was like when you sit in someone else's seat that they were in. He shook his head in disgust. So, I hope this isn't weird. Hope this isn't weird. Like this, you and me hanging out here. No, I don't think it's weird. Oh, but oh god, I would love to make it weird. Stop, stop, stop. Really? What that perverted dream about Larry? Really, really chill out. I like hanging out with you. I'm really glad that Ash introduced you to us. He tugged on his sleeves. Hey, do you have tattoos? I thought maybe I could see one. Oh yeah, I wear long sleeves a lot, so it's been covered up, but here. He rolled his sleeve up. With his hands facing down just above his wrist, he had a little dagger. Oh hey, I like that. Is that all? I have another. He pulled the neck of his shirt down. It's hidden in my hair, and most of the time, but it's for my mom. It was a butterfly. Do you think you can ever get tattoos? He's moved his sleeve. I sighed. Yeah, I would love to get some. I'm a little afraid of how permanent they are. Of course, that's what my parents would say. Well, they are permanent, you're right about that, but sometimes you just have to do what you want to do. It's fun to just do things you desire on your own. I thought about Sal's fingers, reaching for his hair, pushing it back gently, his neck exposed, untouched by the sun, so soft. He wants to talk about doing whatever you want to do. I wanted to reach out for him and see how soft his skin was. That's what I wanted to do. Bad advice, Sal. All I could do was utter a yeah. His legs shifted and ended up getting closer to mine. Larry told Ash that we held hands that first time we hung out. Do you remember that? Oh, yeah, I remember that. Being high. Wait, so did he tell her? He shook his head. Wait, what did he tell her? I don't know when or why. I just never got to tell you about it. I don't think about anything, but if you know, just thought you needed to know. I regretted bringing it up, but I wanted to touch him so bad I needed a distraction. So, we did hold hands though, right? I laughed a little. A little, yeah. He shifted again, leaning closer. This time our legs touched. I really don't know how to do this. Do what? I pressed. Like, meet new people. I would like to think I'm good at being friendly and kind, but when it comes to letting others get too close to me, I kind of get a little sort of caught up in what I'm doing, things right or not. I felt relieved. Me too. I haven't had many friends, really. He looked at me through his mask. I didn't know what he was going to say. I don't think he did either. I felt him reach over and he took my hand in his. He looked down. I just want it to be known I'm very worried if I'm doing things right or not. Or right now. My eyes fell from his face to our hands. His nail polish was chipping and his hands were cold. I think there's a way to tell if you're doing things right. It's, I paused. Think wary to say something wrong. Well, I think there are certain people you're meant to know in your life, and I think you can tell those people by the way you make them feel. He looked up and we met eyes and he nodded, before looking back down. So, how do I make you feel? I scoffed and a small smile formed in my head. I couldn't help it. I was flustered by his question. You know, I was just asking myself the same question when we got here. I could feel myself getting the nervous shivers. I know it's good, really good. I feel comfortable around you, and though I can't put the feelings into words, I feel there's something telling me that you're one of those people I was meant to know. Our eyes met, but he didn't look away this time. I think so too, he said in a low voice. Fantasizing. Sorry if I sound different. I placed my phone down on the pillow and I'm currently laying on my stomach. It was just on my back and it's hard to hold the phone and lay on my back, so I'm gonna be like this for the rest of the audio. The first day of classes was exciting. Campus was packed and almost everywhere you looked there was dozens smiling faces. I didn't normally like crowds, but it felt nice to be a part of something so rewarding. It felt like a big celebration of a whole lot of mixed things from celebrating. Making it this far, being this young, and having so much ahead of us. It almost didn't even feel like school education. It always felt like a competitive, like an opposition opening team. The night I met Ash for dinner and we talked about the first day together, Ash didn't feel the same as I did about her. That she felt about classes. She was excited for the parties on campus to start. Well, at least shared a mutual acceptance for a wild social scene. If it wasn't anything like hanging out with Sal, Ash, and Larry, I was down for it all. Ash let me in on a secret of frat parties and house shows. I felt thankful for having her help navigating campus life, because although I was excited, I definitely wasn't as pumped as I was without Ash. Her companionship brought us out a better side of me, the side that lives out life I normally dreamt of. Among the first day of chatter, I wondered if I should tell her about Sal. With Ash and Larry asleep, neither Sal or I had said anything that day. We left Larry's apartment and I haven't talked to him much since, so I wasn't sure if we had said anything to Larry. I figured if he said something to Ash, and she definitely would have told me. I decided it wasn't a big deal, and Sal and I was just hanging out. Even if it was just maybe a thing between us, and there was no ventilation to tell others about it. Thinking the day made my stomach flip. I couldn't wrap my head around everything that was going on inside me. My feelings were all tangled up and unrecognizable. I felt good because I was getting closer to Sal, but on the other hand, I felt bad too. I felt bad for a lot of different reasons, actually. I felt bad because I wondered if things were moving too fast. I felt bad because I might be causing or crushing on Ash's best friend. My stomach flipped so hard I was worried I would get sick, though I might think about it too hard. But I could feel like there was something there with Sal. I just couldn't tell what it was yet. Next chapter, going to the lake. I think it's the lake that Sal and Ash went to in the game. I think. But let's keep going. The first week basically flew by before I knew it. It was Friday, and since I only had classes Monday through Thursday, my weekend had already started. So far, I loved my routine. I'd get up at 8, take a shower, put on a cute outfit, and do my makeup while listening to music. It was peaceful and reliable. I like listening to music before I go to school. It definitely gives me that boost to start the day. I don't know about how much you guys. Very good, very good. I could gather myself with no distractions. It was warm today, so I decided to wear something summery. I knew winter was coming soon, and I wanted to soak up the bit last warmth. As I finished my makeup, my phone buzzed, and it was Ash. Hey, you up? Me. You. Oh my god. I feel like I have to sneeze. This happens a lot now. I'm gonna cry. You. Yes, just got done getting ready. Ash. What the fuck? It's not even 10 yet. Oh, come on. It's a routine. Yeah. Whatever you say. Do you mind if I come over to get ready? I miss you. You. Oh my god. Please? Okay. I'll be over soon. Shortly after sitting my phone down, I heard a soft knock. Hi, Ash. I smiled and opened the door for her to come in. She had a makeup bag and a hair straightener. Thanks for letting me come over to get ready. I was lonely in my room. She placed her belongings on my desk. Yeah, of course. I pulled up a mirror for her. Hanging out after class just doesn't satisfy like spending a whole day with you, does it? Aww. She made puppy eyes as she searched through her bag for brushes. I hopped in my bed, looking down at her at my desk. So, party girl, any ideas for the weekend? I hope so bad she'll say yes. Probably just gonna read ahead in my textbooks and get some homework done. I stared at her, watching her uncap on her eyebrow pin. She met my gaze with a straight face. Oh god, I got you so good. She laughed. I'm totally kidding. Of course I have ideas. I said, relieved. Oh wow, you really got me good. I almost thought maybe we were in for a boring weekend. Oh my god, no. I mean, the frat parties probably aren't searching yet, but we can see Larry and Sal. Ash had her eyes open, applying mascara. It would be nice to see them. I fumbled with the hem of my shorts, and I thought about how I could greet Sal. I remembered the decision I've made for myself. I would let others guide me, wherever it was meant to happen, or would happen, without my interference. I knew I would be happier if I just got out of my head. Ash and I chatted about summer versus fall fashion and how excited we were for it to get colder. After applying a thick layer of lip gloss, Ash turned to me. I honestly couldn't wait for Halloween. I've been looking forward to it since last Halloween. She looked back in the mirror and examined her gloss. We should totally throw a Halloween party. You're so much fun. I've never been to a Halloween party. Oh, you're gonna have fun with me this semester for sure. Ash took out her phone and texted Larry. I'm asking the guys if they want to hang out tonight. What do you think they want to do? My mind was blank. I really had no idea what people usually do together for fun. Maybe we could watch a movie? Ash smiled down at her phone. Oh, hell yeah. By the way, Larry and Sal are going to hang. Maybe we can meet up with them at the lake since it's still early. Oh, that sounds nice. I haven't been. I was excited. I loved looking at the lake from Larry's balcony. I wonder how big it really was. She looked at me from her phone. Hey, would you mind if or maybe if they drop by here first? Larry's gonna look at a drawing I'm working on and help me with some autonomy. Oh yeah, that's fine. Does Larry make art? Yeah, he's really into painting. I guess that didn't come up, but he's usually very good. We were in art class in high school together. Maybe he'll be down to show you some of his stuff. Ash phone dinged and she smiled. Okay, cool. They're on the way. I smiled. They've ever been to dorms? Oh yeah, many times to my room. Last year, I think Sal used to live on campus last year. Actually, maybe we could all have a sleepover in my room sometime. It's gonna be fun to sneak people in. I watched Ash fumble on her phone and thought about what it must have been like before I joined them. I thought about the dynamics between Ash and Larry, and Sal, with me out of the picture. I was worried about seeing Sal, and I started to feel even more nervous. Thinking about it, I hadn't intruded on their friendship. I looked down at my nails and then I painted earlier. I picked the nail polish on my skin. I felt myself getting in my head again. Okay, they're outside. I looked to see Ash smiling and my nervousness set in a little. Ash was so warm and so sweet. Her smile dropped and her eyebrows lowered, and she looked concerned. Hey, you okay? Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, I was just thinking. Her eyebrows relaxed. Anything you want to talk about? I gave her a soft smile. It's just school. Thank you, though, Ash. She smiled back and stood up. If you're sure, I'm gonna get Sal and Larry. She closed the door behind her. Immediately, I rushed to the mirror. I flipped my hair and brushed it out. I nervously adjusted my shirt and smoothed out my shorts. I grabbed a hoodie from my jacket. I grabbed a hoodie from my jacket and slipped it on. As if on cue, I heard a light knock and I took a breath and turned the knob. I smiled at Ash, Larry, and Sal standing behind her. Hey guys! I went to the door to let them in. Sal, you go ahead. I need Larry's help with the drawing. Ash turned around and headed towards her room with Larry. As Sal stepped aside, his hair was messy, in a messy bun, and was wearing a black t-shirt with black jeans that were tucked into some combat boots. Nice to see you again, Wynan. I could see Sal smiling. I smiled back. Nice to see you. How's your classes going along? What about you? Well, I guess about the same. I really do like campus though. Maybe just being here. Wow, you got an awesome room too to come back to. Sal pointed to my pink lights. I chuckled. Oh yeah, I mean, you should see Ash's room. Mine's is lacking, honestly. Well, the town has a huge flea of markets that happens every month. Lots of cool local artists sell their work. I know Ash has picked up a lot stuff from there. Maybe we could all go there sometime. It's pretty fun. Just like Ash and Sal had a warm energy that just instantly smoothed you. I mean, minus the excitement. He could have flicked for me. I was starting to ground myself. I made a mental reminder that I would have not got in fear with events just because I couldn't control my nerves. Yeah, it sounds really fun. I'd really like to go out and do more. Get more familiar with the town. I played with the zipper in my jacket around and Sal and Larry. I felt so hyper aware of my skin. I guess boys in general just made me nervous about my body. My hoodie was just a good safety blanket. I was so glad to have made that last-minute decision. Soon enough, Larry and Ash came back. Alright, you guys ready to go? Larry stood up in the doorway with his hands in his pockets. He was wearing a dark green band t-shirt of some sort of artist I've never heard on top. He wore a baggy Flint and his jeans were ripped to shreds, topping off the outfit with Converses that were so dirty you wouldn't know the soles were meant to be white. If you ever seen a pair of Converses before? I laughed in my head, knowing how obvious it was that Larry was a laid-back guy. I'm all ready if you guys are. I grabbed my phone. Larry let the group out of my room, and I locked the door behind us. The car ride to the park was fun. The energy of the group was infectious, with music blaring in the background and laughs cutting throughout. I looked over at Sal, who was looking at the window. I glanced down at his hand resting on his knee. We got to the lake, and it was like we were hidden. Though the lake was visible from Larry's place, there was so many trees and barely any surrounding buildings. The group settled under a large tree near the edge of the lake. Wine, do you know how to skip stones? Larry turned to me, holding out a flat rock in the palm of his hand. I shrugged my shoulders. Kind of. It's been a long time. Ash stepped in. We would like to have stone skipping competitions. Damn it. Larry always wins, though. It's not really a competition. She took the rock and flung it across on top of the water. 1, 2... Oh, that's too bad, Ash. Sal patted her on the back as she frowned at Larry, who was picking out his own stone. Finally happy with the selection, Larry swung his arm, releasing the stone far across the water. Sal counted. 1, 2, 3, 4... Damn, Larry! Ash crossed her arms. He's such a show-off. Donate the player. Larry smirked and held his hands up in defense. Ash looked for another rock, seeking revenge. It's not even fair with how long your arms are. I looked at Sal and laughed before kneeling down next to Ash to find a stone for myself. I felt kind of stupid, hunched over these rocks. They all looked the same to me. I watched Ash metaphorically examine each rock as if there was a science to it. Which granted 3 wishes, I couldn't see the physics in still motionless rocks. I settled on a small smooth rock in the color of charcoal. I felt it in my hand as I watched Larry and Ash battle each other. I started to become more attracted to the cool smooth surface and almost didn't even want to throw it out the lake. There was only thrown to nothing darkness. Wine in. You want to try to beat me? Ash isn't doing such a great job. Larry smirked, over his shoulder at Ash. Oh, come on. I know you got some ounce of strength in you. Or at least a pedal. I looked down at my rock. You know what? I think I kinda need a different one. I turned back to the pile of stones and knelt down again, slipping the black rock into the right pocket of my shorts carelessly. I chose another at random. I walked back up to the edge of the lake and looked at Larry. Go easy on me, please. He laughed and smiled. Absolutely not. I looked out to the horizon and pretended like it was my target. I imagined throwing my stone so far it would disappear into the sun. Okay. 1, 2... Oh, mine in. I think you should just throw it and didn't skip it. Sal laughed. Oh no, wine in, you let him win! Ash put her arms up in her face. When will he be stopped? Larry gathered to skip his stone and tried all on our surprise. Larry ripped 8 skips. Larry, you madman! I could hear Sal smile in his voice. Larry just off his shoulder. What can I say? It's a gift. I suspect cheating. Ash huffed. Larry laughed. Oh, come on. You went at Smash and I went at Stones. It's fair. What do I want at? Sal looked up at Larry. Larry thought for a second. You win at being the best counter. Sal turned to me. I feel like I'm with my dad. I laughed. Yeah, it does kind of feel like that. The group headed back to the car, and I couldn't help but smile to myself. I knew I was at a good part of my life right now. I was having a new experience, but at the same time, these connections were deepening. I felt more relaxed with Ash and Sal and Larry. I didn't feel worried about intruding because I felt like I was wanted. When we made it back to Larry's apartment, Larry had gone off to shower. It was just me, Sal, and Ash on the couch in the middle. Ash and I was on either side of her. She sighed. Do you guys like summer or winter? I like winter. Most definitely. I nodded. Sal also nodded after me, agreeing. Sal nodded in agreement. For sure. Ash mouth dropped open. What, do you guys hate summer? Well, not hate, I started. Ash slumped over and laid on her head on Sal's lap. My eyes drifted to Sal, who was already looking at me. I don't know why Larry had to leave right as soon as we got here. She looked at Sal. It was kind of warm outside. Sal talks stuffingly. I'm gonna guess he has allergies. Because I do. I certainly do. Always something. She stood up and went over to Larry's stereo and then turned to Sal. What do you think we could play? I'm sure you wouldn't mind, as long as you know how to work it. Ash rolled her eyes. Duh. She turned to the stereo, clicking on the machine buttons, lit up a green. Sal cleared his throat and I turned to him. His eyes on mine. Instantly, he handed me his phone. Written notes read, I don't know what that was about. I typed the response. What do you mean? I slid the phone back to him. Ash laying her head on me. We're just friends. I scoffed. I didn't think anything of it. I watched Sal read my message. He looked up at me and I caught a look in his eyes. I couldn't quite make out what kind it was, but I motioned for his phone back. Hesitantly, I typed. Should I have thought something was off? Again, I watched Sal as he read. I wanted to know what that look was. Disappointingly, it wasn't any clearer than it has been the first time. He looked at me from his phone and shook his head. This stupid thing is taking forever to correct. Ash was sitting in front of the stereo with her phone in her hand. Finally, the speaker played a melody indicating her phone had connected. About time! What do you guys want to listen to? Sal started to speak up, but before he could get his suggestion out, I cut him off. How about Tongue-Tied? I think I know what that is. Maybe. Comment down below if you guys know what Tongue-Tied is, because I don't know what Tongue-Tied is. Maybe I've heard it before. I don't know. Maybe it's by a band. I don't know. Ooh, Wine In. I love that song. Ash typed the title into Spotify, and the energetic tune begins playing through the speakers. This reminds me of middle school. Wow, this was before I even knew Sal. Sal leaned back into the couch. Yeah. I didn't even live here at the time. He turned to me. I don't know if it ever came up, but I moved here before sophomore year of high school. Believe it or not, I actually haven't known Larry or Ash all my life. He laughed. Ash laughed with him. I can't believe that's true. It's funny to think all you were just being kids. Sal turned around. Wine In. Sal was so small. Ash, shut up. Sal threw a pillow at Ash. Ash giggled. Aw, he's mad. I'm gonna go check on Larry. He stood up from the couch and disappeared into Larry's room. Ash joined me on the couch. Sal was just like your height in high school. He was so cute. Poor Sal. All his friends are tall. She giggled. Well, except you. Sorry about that. I chuckled and rolled my eyes. It's okay. Larry's door opened, but no Sal. Just a dumped-haired Larry holding a towel. He was in a dark red shirt and blue plaid boxers. Larry tousled his hair with the towel. Sal told me you were embarrassing him. No, I would never do that. Ash stood up in defense. Larry raised an eyebrow. Well, okay. He moved aside and pointed to the closed door. He's in there. Go say sorry, and tell him that he's handsome. What a snitch! Ash pouted and made her way to the door. She turned around to me and made a face while shaking her head. If it was to say, okay, drama queen, I giggled and watched Ash enter Larry's room. Larry set his towel down on the back of the chair and sat next to me. Sal's not actually upset, if you're wondering. It's just a little joke. He smiled. I just wanted to make you feel, and don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, just as if Ash actually made Sal sad. Oh. I forced a little chuckle to ease my anxiety. Larry tucked his hair behind his ear. So, how's school going? It's good. So far, so good. I like my classes. I looked away at my shoes, and one of my lace was untied. I saw Larry's socks patterned with little weenie doggies. That sounds about right. Cute socks. I looked down and he laughed. Oh, shut up. Have to do laundry. He ran a hand through his hair. I'm glad things are going well for you. I wish I could have gone to school. I looked over at him and then down again at my shoes. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. That's okay, but why didn't you? Larry leaned his head back inside. Well, it was a whole thing. Kind of a long story. I don't mind, really. Ash and Sal emerged from the room. Hey! Sal and I kind of decided we want pizza. What do you guys want? Sal chimed in. Wine in. There's this really good place. I shrugged my shoulders. Sure. Larry smiled. You already know I want some of that. Yes, okay. Pizza party! Get one pepperoni, one cheese. Sal and I we're gonna go pick it up. Some drinks for us. Larry swung his arm over the couch. Sounds good. You guys need cash? We're good. We'll be back soon. Ash turned and Sal headed over to the door. Sal turned around and waved. After the sound of the door shutting, a silent click filled the room. I shifted my position. So, as I was saying, I don't mind a long story. Oh, yeah, right. When I was really young, my dad left. He wasn't bad too, neither, but my mom or me, he just left because, you know, it was still affecting my mom. Obviously, my mom and I are close, so I guess there was just enough guilt surrounding us to leaving for college, though. I'll go where you guys go, and I'll still be close to home. I just felt guilty, especially with college being so expensive. My mom doesn't make a whole lot. I can support myself being here in the apartment, though I couldn't do it if I went to school. Besides, I want to feel like I've never had an interest in anything worth going to college, but I feel like art and music, why pay thousands of dollars to study something that's already an overstimulated market? There's so many people that are way more talented. It would be no use to waste the money when it's possible to make a career out of it. He sighed. Sorry, I'm just mumbling now. I smiled. No, it's okay. I asked you about it, and the air got tense again, and I tried to think of what I could say to ease the weight of the conversation. I don't think I've ever seen your art. Larry smiled and then shook his head. It's not great. Really? Ash said it was good. He thought for a second, tapping his fingers on the armrest. Well, maybe I've got some things I could show you. Come on. He stood up and walked to his room, looking over his shoulder at me. There was this first time I seen Larry's room. It was exactly what I would have expected. Dark and moody. He stood by his desk. Here are some things I've been working on. Some drawings, paintings. It's just like a collective project. I stood beside him. I looked down at the sketchy ink drawings of his sunken face man alongside with some blue paintings of some man, but happier. Larry swallowed. It's, supposed to be a collection of self-portraits. The theme is a working title. Something along the lines of it feels good when it's bad and hurts when it gets better. I nodded. I really like that. I looked at him. Your hair is short in these self-portraits. Well, it's a self-portrait of who I would be if I was unrecognizable. I don't know if it was a mental thing, like a separation of reality and art. I laughed. Damn, you really are a real artist, huh? He smiled down at the drawings, sheepishly. I definitely wouldn't go as far to say that. I watched his face. He looked the softness. I've seen him. The thought of his once through extender seems out of place. Now his hair still damped, his gaze fixed as he was unvariable now, and he was real. Really though, these are amazing. And you do this for yourself? No problem, no great, that's cool. He looked down to meet my eyes. It really helps, you know, it's like smoothing. Okay, chat, we read 5 parts so far. This is the 6th part. Going to a library with Sal. So I would only assume like alone time with Sal. And then the next one is alone time with Larry. And after that, pizza with Ash and Larry. So yeah. Sorry about the stuttering and slight fuck ups. I just need to read slowly. Okay, let's continue. Classes were picking up and not in a good way. I mean, the material was interesting, but God, I feel swamped in the first 3 weeks. I was assigned 2 group projects, a research paper, and countless homework assignments. I tried my best to stay on top of it all, but I could have most definitely felt myself slowly becoming overwhelmed. This is Sal. You. Hey, you took physics to 2300, right? Yeah, why? What's up? Did you happen to work on a research paper for that class? Law, do you need help, huh? Well, I need help, and also, I just have no idea what the topic is to choose. I could definitely help you. Want to meet up at 6? Oh my god, yes! Thank you so much! Ugh, stressing. No problem. I set my phone down and looked at the clock. 4 o'clock. All my classes were already over for the day. By the way, guys, 4 p.m. I forgot to read that part. I tapped my nose against the desk as I tried to brainstorm research topics so I didn't meet Sal empty-handed. I made no progress worthy of sharing. I sighed and opened my window. The air was feeling cold and it was finally September. I noticed dark clouds and checked my weather app. Sure enough, it was supposed to rain tonight. I sighed, a bigger sigh this time, and wrote a reminder for myself about grabbing an umbrella before I left. I sat back down at my desk. I love being at college, but sometimes I feel like a Sims character. There was moments like I had no idea what to do with myself. I had 2 hours to fill before Sal and I would meet to work on this paper. I felt angsty. What was the best way to pass the time? Before I knew it, I was asleep. The disservice I did to my future self by setting an alarm only 20 minutes before I had to meet with Sal. With tremendous that I might even be understanding, I rolled out of my bed, a hair mess and clothes was all wrinkled. The damage was even worse. Once I looked in the mirror, my mascara had smudged under my eye, making me look as if I started to cry, but didn't. I growled as I thrust around my room, rumbling to look for presentables. Ding, a text from Sal. Hey, grabbed a tablet for us at the library. Worse than being on time, he was early. I rubbed the mascara off as much as possible as I could and smoothed my hair. My top priority was getting out of bed with my wrinkled clothes. I could handle the makeup. It could pass for judge, but to sleep in clothes? Just embarrassing. I frankly raided my closet. Everything just felt like the wrong choice. I caught myself before I spiraled out of control. Sal wasn't rushing me. We were doing schoolwork in the library. It was gonna rain. I needed to chill out. I exhaled deeply and tried again. As if by the magic, the perfect shirt was right in front of me. A cropped black t-shirt with a band and graphic. Chill and simple, comfortable, and enough for me to feel relaxed after being so wanded up. I was alone, but felt embarrassed. I was getting myself worked up over nothing. Well, maybe it was nothing or something. It was Sal. Either way, it was humiliating low. I grabbed my backpack and keys, thanks to the sticky notes and umbrella too. I made my way out of my dorm hall into the demi-light courtyard. It was supposed to be a sunset, but the room clouds were covering all up. Pretty colors. It felt like it was just 3 a.m. Not being too neat and walking in the dark, I wouldn't waste any time getting to the library. Finally, by the stroke of luck, I had missed the rain just by a chance. I turned around the library for a head of a blue hair, but found nothing. Hey, you there? I texted. Ding! I'm upstairs. Upstairs. I had only been to the library once. I didn't know there was a second floor. I stumbled around foolishly looking for a stairwell. I tried my best to be discreet about it, as just try not to disturb any studying students. Also, not to avoid looking for a moron, but to no avail, I was lost. I hid in an aisle of books and texted Sal. I'm kinda lost. Oh, I know. I can see you walking around in circles. What do you mean you can see me? Look up. I felt embarrassed to obey the command, but as promised, there was a blue-haired boy, and I was looking for all this time. Sal had been leaning over down from the second story. I shook my head and followed his directions given by some pointing. That was embarrassing, Sal. I huffed and took my backpack off as I sat down. He laughed. Oh, come on. It wasn't that bad. I was eventually going to tell you where to go, if that makes you feel any better. I smiled and gave him a death stare. Not really. It could have been worse. Could have gotten caught in the rain too. Sam pointed to the window. I looked. It was dark and cloudy. The rain left drops on the long glass pane. All the warm lights of the library lit up. Its dark wood inferior. It felt so comforting in here, sheltering us from the cold rain and drops with luxurious warmth. Yeah, I came prepared for that actually. I took my umbrella out from my bag and held it up. Ah, smart. Hopefully it's not raining by the time we get out of here. Sal opened his laptop and started typing. I nodded, yeah, because it would be so awful to get caught in the rain with Sal. So god-awful to see his hair all dripping wet, clothes damped, clinging to his body. It would be a tragedy if the storm got worse and Sal couldn't drive home, so he came up to my dorm. Yeah. So hopefully it stops raining. Oh god. Fantasizing again. Okay. Sal snapped me back to reality. So, went in. Any ideas so far? I reached into my bag for my notebook. Well, kind of, but also not really. I sighed. I was thinking about researching how tense emotions affect rational thinking, but I feel like that might be a little too overwhelming. He lowered his laptop and screamed to look at me. What? No, that's a great idea. I could pick something. I thought it would be easy for my research paper. It turned out to be a terrible, boring process. Really, I regret doing it that way. It's way easier when it's fun, and it's way more fun when you're interested. I thought for a second. That makes sense, actually, but do you think I'm risking running into a time-constant thing? That topic sounds very research-heavy in me. Well, it is research paper, but I'm here. I could hear him smiling. I mean, like, I would love it if you could help. Yeah, thanks, Al. Well, we figured that out pretty fast. I guess I wasted your time. Huh. He shook his head. Oh, not at all. As if I would have been incredibly important business to attend at 6 p.m. on a weekend. He closed his laptop. So, how's everything going? Oh, it's alright, just getting the hang of things. What about you? Yeah, it's the same. Sal shifted in the seat. So, what about home? Are you missing it? To a certain degree. I guess home wasn't the best part for me. I fumbled with my rings. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I shook my head. No. Don't apologize. It's no big deal. It is what it is. Sounds more dramatic than it is. I understand, yeah. I'm familiar with that. He pointed to his mask. I laughed uncontrollably. Unfortunately, my baggie doesn't make me look super cool. I saw Sal's eyes squint as he shook his head. So, do you think the mask is cool? Oh, for sure. Lots of girls have a thing for masked men. That is actually a true fact. Waynon's not wrong about that. Sal's eyes widened. Oh, don't give me that face. You know what I mean. Girls like masked characters. Batman? Sal squinted. I waved my hand to dismiss him. Oh, shut up. He laughed. You called me cool and got mad at me for reacting. What's the physiology behind that? I laughed with him and then got to thinking what he said. I started to wonder if Sal could read me and could figure out what I was thinking. I didn't even have to figure it out. I'm sure a physiology major would have lots of distracting and twisted up feelings of mine. I hope this specific physiology major couldn't. Sal started. So, what do we do now? I could hear the rain pouring down on the window. I don't know if it's raining. I could walk you to your dorm if you like, since it's dark. I didn't really want to leave Sal, but we're still on the just buddies if it was late on a school night. I nodded my head and stood up and grabbed my umbrella in hand. I had to apologize in advance. My umbrella's small. It's better than what I brought, which is nothing. We started down the stairs and walked side by side out the library. Once outside, we stalled underneath the cover above the door. It was a lot colder than it has been when I left, and my t-shirt was providing no warmth at all. Shit, it's worse than I thought. I turned away from the rain, facing the door again. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be so windy. Sal faced me. Do you want my jacket? I'm wearing a long sleeve underneath, so it'll be okay. I looked over my shoulder, out to examine the rain again. A gust of wind blew, and I shivered. Fine, thank you, I'm sorry. Sal shrugged his jacket off and offered to put it on me. You don't have to apologize. How could we have known it was going to get stormed for no reason? His jacket was soft on the inside and still warm from wearing it. He reached to zip it up, his hand slightly grazing the exposed skin of my stomach from where my shirt pants met. I shivered a little. I know you're probably cold, but hopefully that helps. I smiled and nodded. Thank you. Of course. Sal mentioned for the umbrella. To your dorm? Yes, sir, I replied. He pushed the umbrella open and held it up. Wow, you weren't kidding. This is small. Okay, here. Sal held his arm out, motioning for me to stand next to him. I met Sal at his side and felt his arm lay across my shoulders. I thank God for letting it rain a little longer. We walked closely together under the fit of the umbrella, dodging puddles and embracing for cold wind, finally approaching my dorm hall. We stopped at the doors. So, we were covered from the rain. I eyed Sal as shook the umbrella dry. Hey, you can take it if you want, so you don't have to walk to your car and get soaked. Oh, are you sure? I mean, I'll see you around soon enough. I don't want you to walk in the rain. He smiled. Thanks, Wyman. Oh, do you want this back? I took off my backpack and unzipped his jacket, starting to take it off. He shook his head. His hair was wet and starting to curl up a bit around the strands. He stuck his mask. No, it's okay. It's like a little trade. He smiled and held up the umbrella. I smiled back and laughed. Right. Well, I hope the rain isn't too bad. I hope not. He pushed the umbrella back and held it above his head. Well, Wynan, I'll see you soon. I had fun with you tonight. I nodded. Me too. Yeah, me too, Sally face. Drive safe. He held up a hand and made his way back out into the rain. His blue hair was easy to spot among the dreary weather. I grabbed my bag and went to my room. I was freezing and was so ready to lay down. I removed my makeup and started to get undressed. As soon as I stood in front of the mirror, I remembered I was in Sal's jacket. I felt my cheeks got hot. I let the sleeves cover my hands, and I brought them up to my face. I inhaled deeply. He smelled so good, just like when I met him. Lavender and mint chewing gum. I took the jacket off and laid it neatly on my bed while I changed in my pajamas. Once I changed, I slipped into Sal's jacket and laid back in bed. Next part is Alone with Larry. Ooh, interesting. Alone with Larry. Alone with Larry. It was the beginning of the weekend. After a stormy week, the weather was beautiful. I decided to go out to the lake. Lucky me, this town loves the idea of public transportation, so not having a car wasn't a death sentence. I walked around the park and found a bench to sit at. To view the lake was nice from here. It was decently shaded by some autumn malt trees. I made it just in time for a sunset. I put my headphones on and started to think about how much I love this chapter in my life, how much I grew every day, how much I loved being here, how much happier I am here, how much I feel like myself. It was insane to me that I did this for myself and it actually working. I'm living my life the way I want it. I'm in control now. I fixed my gaze, began to blare as I closed my eyes, getting lost in the music. I felt so happy I should cry. Shit! I jumped up and swatted my headphones off. Standing above me was Larry with the biggest smile I've ever seen. You asshole! I reached out to hit him. You scared me to death. He dodged my swing and began laughing uncontrollably.
Yeah, you don't have to explain. I saw it.
Ugh, I rolled my eyes and paused my music. What are you doing here? Same as you. Well, except I'm not having a heart attack. May I sit? He pointed next to the empty spot next to me on the bench. I scooted over. Yeah, whatever. Well, come on. He bumped my shoulder with his. I didn't mean to scare you. So, you just got lucky. Larry smiled and shook his head. Yeah, I guess in a way I found you, didn't I? I raised an eyebrow and looked out to the lake. Okay, so... Really, you were just here to sit? Yeah, sometimes I listen to music or draw. It's a good sport. He held up a little journal. Got any sketches? I just sat and listened to music today. Wasn't inspired. I nodded. I see. So, were you about to leave? Yeah, the sun's about to go down. He mentioned to the sky. Oh yeah, I just got here, but I guess I came out a little late. A little too late. I looked up to the pink and orange clouds. You want to ride back? Sure. I took the bus here. We stood up and began walking through the park and back to Larry's car. Larry twirled his keys. So, I haven't seen you in a minute. How's it going? It's fine. Kinda hating work. Homework. We walked up to his car. Couldn't really relate, but I feel bad for you. At least it's the weekend, he said before opening his door. New air freshener. I read the name of the little cardboard tree hanging from his mirror. Black ice. Smells good. Larry laughed. Yeah, I cleaned my car. Looks brand new. Yes, if it was 1989, it looked brand new, Larry. Oh, you're such a hater. He shook his head. So, what would you like me to take you back to your dorm, or would you want to hang out? I think Ash might be coming over later. Well, in that case, would he be down to hang out? Larry smiled. To my place we go. Larry lives a decent way away from the lake, but the ride was nice. I liked the sincerity, and he had a good playlist. By the time we got to his apartment, the sun had almost fully set. I didn't even realize how bad a situation I would have been in if Larry had not showed up. Thanks for driving me back. I probably wouldn't have been freaked out a little if I had been stuck out there in the dark. He raised an eyebrow. Yeah, girl, maybe work on that timing. Don't you getting scooped up by some weirdo, especially one with long hair. I laughed and rolled my eyes in response. As we made our way to Larry's apartment, I figured it was so far up and required so much cardio. Your stairs are insane. You just do that every day? He took his keys out and opened the door. That's how I maintain my irresponsible physique. I see. I was wondering how you did that. Shut up. You think you're so funny, huh? You don't? No, I do. Do you want anything? Like water or something? He opened the fridge. I'm okay, thanks, though. He laughed as he shut the door. Glad you said no, because I actually don't have anything. I guess we'll just chill. He made his way into the living room and plopped down on the couch. He mentioned for me to come sit. I sat next to him. So, what you been up to? I sat next to him. Just working on some art here and there. Where I can. I'm a little bored when Ash and Sal go back to school. Oh, I didn't even think about that. It must suck. He sighed and rested his hand on his head. Yeah, it's, lonely. But even before Sal and Ash went off to college, I've kind of felt like an outsider. I covered my hands with my sleeves. Why's that? I mean, I don't want to pry. He shook his head. Ah, stupid. Really? He sighed again. Ash and Sal dated in high school, and it threw off the balance for a while. I think Ash told me about that, actually. Yeah, they broke up, but I'd like to think I'm good at feeling for energy, and I don't know if it feels like there's always been some kind of connection between them that makes me feel left out. I mean, Sal's my best friend. When I'm with him, there's no doubt about it. I just overthink things. They probably would be shocked to hear about how I feel. I don't think they see it, which is fine. They're not hurting me or anything. It's on my own personal deal. I looked at my shoes and thought for a second. So, do you think that there's something going on? He laughed. Oh, well, between you and Sal. Had the hots for Ash for a while. In my opinion, I feel like Ash is warming up to it. Ash is odd. She's had many admirers, but has never pursued them. I think she looks for comfort in love, which is definitely what Sal is for her. I laugh. Damn, Larry, you should really be a physiology major. You got it all figured out, huh? Hope you're not secretly psychoanalyzing me. I'm so sorry, Winan, but I totally have. He looked at me slyly. Don't worry, I haven't made any groundbreaking discoveries. Can you let me know when you do? I joked. He put his hands up on the table. Oh, for sure. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. Like, what's going on with Sal and Ash, and that just them being off at school. I know it's not like to feel as if you're an outsider all the time. It must be tough. Larry smiled lightly. It's been going on for a while now. I think it's just the way I am. He let his head hang down. Neither of us said anything for a while. It wasn't comfortable, but I think we both understand that all we need to be said was already said. I replied what Larry said about Sal and Ash. My thoughts were so jumbled up. I thought I liked Sal, and I thought maybe he liked me too. But at the same time, I could see that Larry was talking about. I think maybe Sal tried to cover it up when he sensed that I could tell. I remember back when Ash laid her head on his lap, and how Sal immediately felt the need to clarify that there wasn't anything going on. I was so stuck at a crossroad, though. Did Sal clarify to clear that up? Or he felt Ash because he liked me and didn't want me getting the wrong idea? I thought maybe I was onto something, but Larry shows his best friend infinitely better than I do. This was a situation that existed before that I ever knew that I even existed. I trusted Larry. My confusion cleared a bit, and my emotions untangled themselves. I felt rational now. Sal and I had met, and I've been over my head with hyperanalyzing something that wasn't even real. I sighed. I think you're pretty cool. Larry looked up. Yeah? I mean, yeah. I've been the type of person you're like the type of person I would want to meet more. He crossed his arms. I don't know what make you say that, but thanks. It's been hard lately, and I needed to hear that. I nodded my head. We are our hardest cycles. He shook his head. You're not fucking kidding. Larry, I'm sorry if this comes out wrong. Wait, but are you jealous of Sal? Larry turned to me and looked right into my eyes. I felt scared to break contact. He blinked and looked away. In some ways, I think I am jealous of everyone, though. Sal's just really good at making friends and being brave. I only asked because I don't know. I used to have a friend who I was jealous of, and it wasn't determined or anything, but it ate me up inside. I don't know. It feels good to not be the only person who's struggling. Larry laughed. Okay, Miss College Student, he sighed. Thank you, though, because I don't know if you've noticed I'm not the most open person. I should try more. I need it. It's just hard with Sal and Ash. I don't know them or too much, but, I don't let them think this is their fault or something. I shrugged. Well, I'm here, if you, ever want to talk about anything. Larry looked over at me and placed his hand on my knee. His eyes were glossy and soft. The look he was giving me was some sad but strong. You want to listen to some music? I nodded and watched him get up to turn on the stereo. The green light stayed on and an eerie song began to play. Larry waited for me to come over. I met him by the stereo. It's called Poison Tree. I listen to it a lot when I'm feeling sad. I felt like this kind of feels floaty. wouldn't you want to dance? I felt my cheeks go hot. I didn't know if this was such a good idea. I looked up at Larry. His eyes were still glossy and sad. I nodded my head. Larry took my hand in his and rested his on my other waist and began to sway. I looked up at him. Is this okay? He responded in a hushed voice. Yeah. The music slowed as we swayed. Swayed. I could feel his heart beating underneath my hand. Larry smelled like cigarettes and worn off cologne. I felt completely intoxicated with nerves. He tightened his grip on my waist and rested his hand on mine. Larry's voice was hushed. I like dancing with you. I nodded, but I was worried though. I didn't know if this is what I wanted. Okay, so we're gonna pause here. I'm sorry. Because this is a good cliffhanger. The pause on. Because so far I've read pretty far. Okay, I'm joking, but we'll read Bonding with Ash, and that's where we're gonna stop at. Because quite interesting. So we're gonna do Bonding with Ash, and that's gonna be on the last chapter we're gonna stop at, because I don't want this to be too long, and I want to save some of this for part 3. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the school week began again, and truthfully, I was relieved that it felt good to have something other than my feelings on my mind. Ash threw her pencil down and slumped her head. I hate these classes. It's all so stressing. Ash and I had started doing our homework together in the library almost every day. She often complained of her classes, so I wasn't even startled. Ash, I put my hand on her back. I know this sucks, but at least you're doing okay. Ash had been doing well. Unfortunately for her, she was good with numbers, and her grades reflected that. Doesn't that feel like a big fuck you? Ash lifted her head and pointed. It's like, I hate this, but I'm not terrible at it. So there is no reason for me to quit, except for the fact that I want to, but my parents, that's not enough. I'm really sorry, Ash. I leaned my head against my hand. Have you ever thought about joining a club for art? She huffed. I mean, no. She looked down and mumbled. I don't know, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe being surrounded by other artists would be inspiring too. Maybe it'll make you feel more connected with your creativity, make you feel less stiff. I offered a smile. She softly smiled. Maybe so. She huffed again. I'm kind of jealous of Larry. I think that's what's making this. She gestured to her homework. All so bad. I raised an eyebrow. Jealous how? Maybe jealous was a strong word to use, but Larry's an amazing artist. Used to be a time where I could help him, but now it feels like it's the other way around. I couldn't help but wonder if it's keeping me from processing. I just see Larry's work, and I feel like I'm not getting any better anymore. I feel like I'm drenched from my art, and it's getting worse. She brought her hands to her face. It's so embarrassing. I felt taken aback. I could have never guessed that is how Ash felt. I always saw Ash as extremely creative and self-assured. If it makes you feel any better, I never saw that. I've never been impressed by her creativity. I've always been impressed by her creativity. I admire it a lot. I spoke softly, watching Ash from behind her hand, watching her face still covered while she muttered a thank you. Maybe you need to find inspiration. Ash removed her hand and laughed. No, I definitely do. School was kind of sucking all the inspiration out of me. Her smile softened. Hey, could you not tell Larry about what I said? Oh my god, I wouldn't even think about it. Okay, good. I think it's nice that we can have private conversations like this. Sometimes I feel a little hesitant to talk to Larry and Sal, but not like they aren't my best friends. I think it just feels maybe they wouldn't fully understand. I smiled and nodded. I like being friends. Me too. I hope you always feel like you can trust me. My lips are always sealed. She laughed. I laughed along with her, but I feel a tiny bit of guilt creep up. She doesn't know about Larry, does she? No, of course not. The guilt grew louder. Oh god, she does. Was that supposed to make me want to tell her? Well, I want to tell her. We're so close and she would understand. Well, I've got to go now. I told my mom I'll call her on Mondays to keep her up to date, you know? She rolled her eyes and packed her stuff. but I guess I'll see you later. After dinner, right? I smiled and nodded. Oh, yeah, of course. Ash stood up and waved goodbye. I watched her leave the library and felt anxious to see her again. What's wrong with me? Why do I always feel like a terrible person? And that is the end of Bonding with Ash. Okay. Well, guys, that is the end of this little go on. That was A Long Time with Ash. Next chapter is Pizza with Ash. Pizza with Ash and Larry. Seems like there's a little bit of guilt in the air with Wynan right now because they feel as if maybe they're taking Larry from Ash, and there was that little moment, and there was also that little moment with Sal, so they're conflicted. So I think this is a good cliffhanger. Will she tell Ash what happened with her and Larry, or will they keep it personal? I really do not have an outro for this yet, but this is JVA signing off. I love you guys, the amount of people that's on this small channel of mine, and I'm gonna keep thriving and keep going because that's what you do to follow your dreams, and I want you guys to do the same. I love you. Mwah. Good night, and have a blissful weekend, and happy Friday.